Well, the way I figured it out, we hadn't won a game since it's in over a month, and it sounds worse than it actually is because of the pause we were under. But got to learn how to win. You got to learn how to lose, and you don't accept either one if you ask me. But you have 22 turnovers, and at one point the free throws were 24-5. Starting to wonder a little bit on some other parts of this game. We had different guys that played pretty good. I thought Josh played really good. I thought Aaron played okay, and actually Rocket was playing real good until we got into the turnover thing. But some other guys, Frosty made some nice passes. We didn't play as well as I think we could. I was very impressed with Gabe Brown coming off, getting 7 rebounds in that short period of time, making a couple shots. I think you could see why we missed Gabe a lot, but having 1 or 2 practices. So, as I said, in the last 28 or 9 days, I think we've had tomorrow and Monday will be the first back-to-back full practices we've had in most of that time. So hopefully we can start moving forward now. Although we've got everybody back, but as you probably saw during the first half, Thomas Kithier left the game, told the athletic trainer he wasn't feeling well. He was immediately removed from the court, evaluated, placed in isolation. Precautionary measure, there's nothing. He tested negative this morning. He'll be in isolation overnight. He's undergoing the PCR test. Our people did a great job. Nebraska was notified immediately. Officials were notified. Administrators were notified. Standby official was notified. I think the only guy that wasn't notified was me, and which was fine. But so I don't know what that'll bring. It's been an amazing month, but we'll try to figure that out. So questions, I'd be more than happy to take them. It's a very good point. Gabe and Josh are 2 of my, live, eat, and sleep it guys. Gabe was in here for an hour and a half this morning watching tape just to get caught up. I absolutely love the kid. He gave us something. He brought some energy, but couldn't go for long periods of time, as I'm sure you can understand. But yeah, as I talked to Fred after the game, you just don't know what the COVID thing does bring because it affects everybody so differently. And I think in general, sometimes you can get fired up. I thought they were very excited to play, which we were at Rutgers. And then by the second half, some things happen and you don't. And I don't know their full protocol on what they went through or how many guys had it. I'm not aware of that, but I know Fred did. I know one of his assistants did. I know they went through hell. I thought he did a hell of a job coaching his team. They really, like the NBA, they really worked on mismatches, got us to switch and do some things. But, if you don't have 22 turnovers, it's a completely different game. And so that can't be all blamed on COVID, but what it can be blamed on is, Josh and Gabe and Marty, they aren't in the practices every day, so you got new people practicing. And on a team sport, we struggled to put everything together. And still at times, we had a 16-point lead. At times we really moved the ball well. We made a couple nice shots. But those turnovers, I think, just started depleting our energy as they do. And I probably should be happy to have 22 turnovers and still win a game.
Next, go to Chris Laurie. There's obviously a lot
Well, he played very well until he started turning the ball over. I mean, made a couple shots, made a three, got some rebounds, had some really nice assists, and his defense was better. I got one guy that can guard people, I got one guy that doesn't, I got one guy that's in between. But I thought there were some foolish turnovers. He just took the ball a little bit out of control, and those reps he needs, you're not going to get those during the season as much, but we're just going to keep working. I did not feel we were ready to play today. And I don't know if we took for granted that they had a long layoff and we'd beaten them at their place. I thought our locker room was dead. I thought that was one of the things that really bothered me before the game even started. So, individually, nobody was great. Everybody hung in there. I thought Josh really helped me on the bench. He was a very good leader today. He kind of figured out what was going on and tried to talk to a few guys. But I tell you guys, everybody's real fragile now. I think that is one of the COVID hangovers, that everybody's gone through a lot. Everybody's so fragile. I started laughing the other day. I got calls from a couple coaches that said the media is jumping on people that are calling their team soft. And I'm amazed. I don't know what people think you should do, but it's an interesting time. It's not all their fault. It's not all our fault, but it is a strange time. And today I did not think we were ready to play. I thought we practiced pretty well. I just didn't think we were as mentally into the game early. And the good news is it proved to rear its ugly head. When you turn the ball over that much, that usually tells you you're not mentally into the game like you need to be. That's a very good question, too. I mean, if I knew how to manage anybody between the mental management, the physical management, the time off management, I mean, none of these things has any of us ever dealt with. What I'm doing is, like I didn't let them practice the day before, and that's what I said. We haven't practiced with our full team, and then he practiced some yesterday. Only precautionary because I thought his legs were not good, as I told you guys. I thought his wind was. I did feel he was better today, but he didn't play a long period in that first half, and that hurt us too. When he got in foul trouble. I mean, we're either fouling a lot or officials are calling a lot. Either way, and but some of those, when I saw some of those stats, they were mind-boggling, and so we've got some guys that have just got to practice more. Josh isn't one of them. So I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow. If he feels pretty good, he might practice half the day. It's not like he's going to be on a deal. If he wasn't for the 20-some days off, if it wasn't for the lack of practicing since January 7th, I wouldn't feel the same way. But I played him a lot of minutes in those two games because I was stuck. He gave me everything he had. A little sore after that. Thank God there's nothing wrong with the foot. It's just his body's sore, and so we'll take it day by day, day by day. But I think the good news is now we got a win under our belt. Hadn't won a game in a month, as I said. Now that sounds, don't write it like that because it sounds so bad. But, we didn't play for most of the month. And now, there is a little pressure on us. And you know what? I kind of like that. I think this team needs to have a little pressure on them. Maybe I need to have a little pressure on me.
Next question is from Matt Charbonneau. Tom, under the category of things we talk about a lot this year, it doesn't change much the center position. I know so Thomas is out, but started Marcus, used all three of the other guys. How would you gauge where you're at with that now? I know Marcus didn't play as much in the second half, but where would you gauge that position at this point?
Well, that too is a little hard to do. As frustrating it is for you and all your tweeters that tweet in, it's difficult because Marty was the guy that we started to play a little more because we knew he'd rebound and run, and he was getting up to 10. He played 12 minutes in a game, and then he gets COVID. And then, Marcus, the summer hurt him, but I mean, he did some good things early, and then gets a little gun happy, and, all of a sudden, at critical times, he's just got to learn. He's got to be a little better, but I didn't think he was bad. I was really disappointed in Julius the first half, but then the second half he played a lot better. I often wonder, is he going through a lot of stuff between COVID and the loss of his father, and how does he balance that? I could use Lindsay full time here, 24/7, to be very blunt and honest with you. So you got to really, everything you do right now is kid gloves, and that part is hard. And then losing creeps in there and creates those issues. But for the most part, we've been practicing really well. We practiced pretty well yesterday. I didn't think we brought it today, to be very honest with you. So I don't want to use the word soft. I don't want to use the word lazy. I don't want to use some other words. But we didn't bring it today with the same emotion that I think we've been practicing and playing with. How's that?
Hi, Tom. So how has Langford grown over the season as a veteran coming off injury and kind of shown his leadership over these last few games? He led tonight with 18 points.
Yeah, he led tonight with 18 points, but he led even more on the bench. He was really good. I was really happy with Josh and the way he played. It's been hard. It's been hard for him. I think he looks at those two games. He had enough good shots that he took and he thought should have made, which I kind of agree with him, especially at Iowa. But I think he's growing a lot. I mean, I don't know many people that could go almost 2 years off, do what he did, rehab like he did, respond like he has, kind of figure that maybe your basketball days are over and still grind enough. It's hard to feel excited about it because up until tonight, I think he can play better than he's played. But if I look at what he's given me, God, I don't know many guys that have given me as much as Josh has given me and fought through all these different things. Still pretty good defender. I mean, he has 5 rebounds, 16, 18 points, pretty good defense. Josh is, and great leadership on the bench. So Josh is definitely a bright spot, especially coming off the COVID. I think hopefully now we can get him practicing a little more and he can take another step or two forward.
Next question comes from Larry Lake.
Tom, 2 questions. Hauser obviously had a frustrating night. Just your thoughts on how foul trouble seemed to give him issues?
Yeah, he's in foul trouble all the time. I mean, and some of that is his fault. I mean, I didn't think he was looking for his shot, but he's definitely, you can't play in and out the way he played, and it seems like he just attracts fouls. I don't know if I'll have to look at some of them. I thought 1 or 2 was question mark, but I don't know that. But I think for us to be really good, Aaron Henry, Joey Hauser, Joshua Langford, and I still think we've got to get, more out of Rocket. I wasn't disappointed with his early part. The turnovers were so bad that created a problem. But he actually was one of the guys I thought was ready to play. He had some life when he came in. We made some progress, and then, we just started turning over. And then remember too, Kithier, whatever you think of him, but he's a solid player, so he's out. And then Josh was in foul trouble, so he was out. I don't know how many minutes you guys might know. I bet you it was 12, 14 minutes of the first half, maybe more. And that hurt our lead too. We had different lineups in there, and that hurt us a little bit.
Tom, I also wanted to ask about, do you think not having family and friends in the stand has anything to do with the guys lacking a little emotion or just kind of adding to what this year has been like?
Larry, I think 100%. I mean, we were all disappointed when that happened. I don't know the full magnitude of it. It does get confusing confusing for them, confusing for their parents. You know, we just opened up high school ball and now we close, you know, college ball. I mean, I just, like I said, I'm along for the ride right now and just trying to figure out. I got too many things to try to figure out, but I know guys who are definitely disappointed, and you know, I can always come up with excuses and somebody will say it's an excuse, but I will just say this: I was not happy with my team's play. I was not happy with the 22 turnovers, but I'm going to keep telling you, you have no idea what these kids are going through, and it's getting tougher. And the good news for me is now we got to win some games. We got to win under our belt. We got to kind of move forward, and that's what we're going to try to do. But you know, blame me, blame somebody else, but they're all not playing good, but they're all going through hell. And different ways, different guys react, just like people do to the virus. And you know, it's been a tough week. We had a couple other people. We lost another member of the family to it. It's been a little tough.
Next question comes from Ian at Channel 6. Hey, Tom, just going back to Gabe, how tough was that for him being out, and then what was his excitement level like about being back?
Well, Gabe's excited anytime he touches a basketball. If he touches it, he's excited. And that'd be a good question to ask him. I mean, I know, like I said, we had a little, we got tested this morning, and then we had a quick little walkthrough about 10 o'clock. And Gabe was here till 12:30, quarter to 1, just watching film, and he didn't even know if he was going to play. So Gabe's a grinder, and he's a live it guy, you know. He doesn't like it, doesn't love it, he lives it. And I think he was really excited. I think he brought something. I think the tip dunks, I think the rebounds he got. I mean, he messed up a few things. I think he could look for a shot a little more that he didn't. But the guy didn't touch anything for, you know, really a long, long time, because you got to remember, Gabe, I mean, our team was in pause, and then I think a week later is when Gabe got it. So, you know, he hadn't practiced in, I don't know, a lot of days. I got a sheet in my office that when the Big Ten sends, when my trainer says, I'm having trouble keeping track on who's out, who's back on this day. We got days they can practice, days they have to get their heart tested, days that they have to start rehabbing for a couple days, and then finally days when they're allowed to play again. I just know that Gabe has probably missed more time than anybody, to be honest.
We have two final questions. We'll start with Brendan Quinn. Hey, Tom. Question on Rocket, kind of more big picture than tonight. You got, 7 to 10 regular season games left, depending on what happens. What do you want to see from him in terms of finding something to build on from this year or something else?
Yeah, well, you know, it's been hard on him too, because every time I think I'll just play him at the 2 some, you know, then we struggle to guard certain things at the 1, and I move him back and forth. I mean, I don't think it's been fair to him, but it is what you got to do. And, you know, just like tonight, I was going to put Aaron at the 4 some. You know, what I want to see from Rocket is to keep progressing like I think he was. Probably should have played more in the second half, but he's got to take care of the ball a little bit better. Any guard does. And, you know, and I told him, get his grit back defensively. You know, he used to be a guy that nobody could go around. I mean, I said he was a reason we won. It wasn't his shooting last year. He shot the same percentage he's shooting this year. It was his defense, his energy, and all the other things. But it's what happens when you take the whole summer off, guys. I mean, some guys can do that, some guys can't. And I think he's one that it hurt a lot. And I think it hurt a lot not to have preseason games and give him a chance. So I don't, you know, I said if I had to pick a guy in the locker room and in the first half of the game, I would have picked him that had as much energy as anybody. And that kind of tells you that we didn't have much, but he did all right, and we'll have to just keep spending time working with him. What do I want to see? you know, it's hard to tell you what we can see on what we're going through. So I'm sick of making excuses. I'm sick of trying to tell you, but unless you lived it and you were here every day, you just, you know, it's hard to understand, you know, what these guys are going through.
And for our understanding, I'm assuming when someone gets sick during a game, whatever, it goes into a checklist of protocols or whatever, like, can you kind of, just what happens when someone says they're not feeling well?
Well, isn't that weird? You know, I mean, I've had kids say they're not feeling well in games 100 times. You know, some kids, maybe they got sick from working hard. Maybe some kid had the flu. Maybe some kid ate something wrong. You know, now if a kid has if his head hurts this much or if his stomach hurts this much, he's done. I mean, he is done. And we did have proper protocol, and our people handled it extremely well. I mean, they came down, trainer told me he's out. I said, well, you know, what's wrong with him? Well, he's just not feeling good. You know, well, maybe he's tired. He just played. You know, he hasn't worked out as much. We haven't practiced. No, can't do it. Gone. And then they notified Nebraska. They notified the officials. They notified the standby officials. And so everybody knows he tested negative this morning. So these are some of the things we're dealing with. And all I can hope is that he's safe. He will now go into, he gets brought right over to the hotel. He quarantines in there. They'll do a PCR test on him either tonight or tomorrow. And we'll get a better idea. If he's positive, it'll be another 10 days for him. Thank God not for anyone else right now, but for him it'll be another 10 days. And well, no, let me retake that. It'll be another 17 days for him. So he'll be able to, if he tests positive. Yeah, if he's got a sore stomach, he's back tomorrow.
Thanks, Tom.
And our final question tonight is from Graham Couch.
You mentioned Marcus getting a little trigger happy, and that three-pointer he took 30 seconds into the second half, I could tell was not the shot you were maybe looking for there. I'm wondering this is obviously not the first time you've had those discussions with him. What is his response when he comes out after those moments? And what are you really trying to get him to understand right there?
You know, players have a tendency to struggle to self-evaluate. Like I said, I want to make sure I don't use soft or use crazy or use any words that would upset anybody out there in our society now, but they have a tendency to struggle to self-evaluate. So he can make a three. He actually has a pretty good shot, but he's not shooting a very high percentage in practice or there. I mean, it's a very low percentage. So, you know, if it's during the game and it's this and that, but you start out the second half and, you know, as every coach will tell you, the first 5 minutes of the game, first 5 minutes, second half, it just wasn't a shot that, you know, and he has been told that many a times. And he didn't play bad, and, you know, we took him out and told him that. We did put him back in. He just, you know, doesn't comprehend it, I guess. But, you know, like I said, guys, there's a lot of things going through these kids' minds right now, and we're just going to keep grinding away at it, you know, and trying to get them better and trying to get them to understand. But what do they say? I can make that shot. I've never talked to a kid about taking a bad shot that he didn't say I could make that shot. And so my response is, well, then make it.